So we're here in fabulous Las Vegas with WasteExpo. I'm here with Jeff Snyder. He is head of recycling for Rumpke Waste in Columbus and Cleveland. I'm from Columbus, so I'm partial to it, but
Absolutely.
How are you doing today?
Doing great. Glad to have me.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So you guys have had issues with fires for a long time. I mean, tell me from your perspective what you think we're dealing with as the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I go back in time and I think about what Rumpke's dealt with as far as fires go in our facilities, one of the biggest things is that we burned our Cincinnati MRF down 13 years ago. Now, listen, we don't know what that was. We know a hot load came in and it was a dry, windy day, but nevertheless, right, we needed that detection and that protection that we really didn't have back then. So, a couple of things as we rebuilt that Cincinnati facility, 12 years ago. We started looking at, cameras that can use near infrared and be able to detect heat sources and those type of things. But as we continue to evolve and as we continue to build our new facility in Columbus, Ohio, it was important to us with that kind of investment, right? It was important to us with that kind of investment that we had something that we could rely on day in, day out, even when we weren't there, which was critically important to us. So Fire Rover was just a great opportunity to be able to protect our assets with everything that's going on in the world. Now, 13 years ago, lithium-ion batteries probably weren't as prevalent as what they are today, but we're dealing with them every day, and that's really what we wanted to focus on.
100%. So you guys built, I live in Columbus, so I actually have Rumpke on my curbside, which makes me extremely happy every time I see the beautiful red truck, the logo. But so you guys spent almost like $90 to $100 million in Columbus, and it was really tell us about that.
Yeah. So we wanted to be the biggest in Central Ohio, and we wanted to be there for a long time. So we invested in the technology and the infrastructure to make sure that we were there 25, 30 years down the road. And when you do that, you don't want to have a catastrophe happen when that asset goes away very quickly. So another great reason that we needed to really protect the facility above and beyond just, regular sprinkler systems. So again, Fire Rover was a great opportunity. Great team to mesh with. We put it on our entire tipping floor, which, this facility is 226,000 square feet. The tipping area is, 1/3 of that. So it's a huge tipping area.
So you guys have a ton of, you put in a Machine X system. It's amazing in there. Right? So tell us a little bit about that system. You guys are getting really low contamination rates.
We are,
right?
We are. Yeah. Contamination rates in that facility are, 12 to 14%. Part of that is that we have such high recovery rates. So if it's a recyclable and we tell you to put it in the recycling can, we're going to get it. So it's over 98% of the recyclables we recover. Some of the technology that we did there was using trommels or basically sizing the material at the very front of the system, which has just been a game changer. Not only that, can we see the material more effectively? We can make a better product go into the marketplace. But it's just helped our entire atmosphere, our culture, our employees. So it's been a really, really cool thing. The other thing we invested is AI. One of the things that we have in Cincinnati is we're actually using an X-ray system with AI attached to it to identify the lithium-ion batteries.
You say the name of that system? It's
sure. Yeah, it's busy. Yeah, absolutely. Great system, and we're excited about it. So basically, you have material that goes into an X-ray. You imagine it just like you would go to TSA at the airport, and as that material goes through there, it's linked to artificial intelligence identifying batteries and like propane tanks hazards. So as it's identified, the material exits the X-ray machine, and then a green laser points to the material, actually follows it on the belt, so that our employees can pull that hazard off the belt. So, we're seeing it's a 50-ton-an-hour system. We're seeing, somewhere between 100 to 110 hazards a day.
That's insane.
So it's just crazy that many batteries are coming through, and we think we're getting probably 75% of those. So we're excited being able to reduce and mitigate the risk that's going through our facility. And then on top of that, you throw the Fire Rover system on top of that, which is really monitoring the floor, looking for those heat sources. It's just, I can sleep at night in Columbus knowing that we have this huge asset, and we still have it being monitored even when we're not there at the facility. And and we still have trucks coming in dumping material.
100%. And you know, it's funny because we bring up Central Ohio, but everybody asks me, it's like, what can you do to make sure that you properly dispose of a battery? So I'm going to give you that question. And, you know, again, if you haven't been to Rumpke's new facility in Columbus, I know that they do a ton of tours because I was, you know, I was invited. So actually, I might like schedule one after this, but that'll be fun.
Yeah, love to have you.
Saying, so.
Love to have you back. So yeah, we're probably getting, oh my goodness, if I had to guess, probably, you know, 50 to 300 batteries every 3 to 4 days. So if you kind of add that up over a week's time, over a month's time, then that gets really, really, it's just a ton of batteries. One of the things that we have to do in our facility is being able to take those batteries and prepare them to go back into a battery recycler. You know, that's everything from sorting the different batteries to sorting the different hazards, taping leads and all those things. So there's some work we have to do on our side to get those ready to go to recycling.
Well, and that's where, I mean, you know, it is always about making sure that you place the batteries, you bring them to a Staples or a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a proper drop-off location. Let me ask you the question. Vapes. What do you do with vapes? And if you need me to cut this, I'll cut it. If you want to answer that question, you're more than welcome. But it is, you know, there's not a ton of drop-off locations. So, like, is there something that Rumpke's working on? Is there something that the industry that, you know, in your opinion, is working on?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. Yeah, I think there's a couple things when you think about the different types of batteries. You have things from yard equipment to being able to use the drill batteries, to just regular batteries that we deal with every day, whether it's greeting cards or whatever. But when you think about vapes and some of the stuff that you deal with that, we're getting them. They're probably going into these battery recyclers, but it's very difficult because they're regulated with the tobacco that's potentially in them. So
considered a hazard material and a biohazard. So, you know, that's one of the things that, like, I know we've been looking for. You know, I mean, at least the confusion, I think, in the industry.
Yeah, not a great home for them, for sure.
100%. And that's where, you know, if you do have a vape, right, I mean, you know, the best thing to do, honestly, is to bring them to your household hazardous waste.
Absolutely.
It's arduous to do. And I know that there's a lot of companies out there working on solutions. And there's a lot of organizations as well. So, all right, so you see batteries, they've hit the waste stream. You guys have done what you can to mitigate your risk, right? So, at the end of the day, what do you see the future of this looking like? You know, the contamination, like trying to stop it on the front end, trying to do education, like what would be the couple things that you would want to part?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. I think one of the big things that they're focused on is continue to evolve the X-ray systems. Not only seeing the X-ray at the pre-sort and as the material enters the facility, but do we go to the curb? Do we go to the truck and we start x-raying material before we ever put it into a trash truck or a recycling truck, and being able to help mitigate it from that side, from a contamination side? I think that's critically important. I think we have to continue as an industry to work on the education, making it convenient for people. Listen, we make it convenient for people to recycle because we say, put it all in one cart.
Yes.
So how do we make it convenient for people to understand what to do with batteries, right? 100%. That's what we got to do.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I do have your recycling, and, you know, my new bin that came out literally has it. I mean, I actually posted about it because I was amazed that, you know, listen, I know how hard you guys are working. I know how hard Logan works, and, you know, your whole team, and I mean, you guys are amazing over there. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, you know, stopping by and having a little conversation. But again, anyone who's in Central Ohio, please make sure that you set up a time. Is there a way that they can go to the website?
You can go to www.rumpke.com, and there's a link there where you can schedule tours. Or you know, just do that. I'd love to meet you there. We have a whole education team that can meet you there, and we're doing any school age from 10 and older. So, and any adults that want to come through, we have a whole education center there, and it's really talking about from the time you go to the grocery store to the time it's made back into something new, what happens to that package.
Yeah, and it's really cool. It's interactive, and it's really an amazing thing. So I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. It was very, it was very fun.
Good.
So, all right.